Welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is about a particular project in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, especially Nicobar Islands. The cost of the project is 72,000 crore, and it is about the project and the negative impact of the project, how the government has been doing or trying to execute the project. It's all about that. Let us start the session with the question, what is the enrichment? As usual, you improve your comprehension skill because it is about environment related project. It's an important topic. You have to know the lexical terms, word combinations, important phrases, vocabulary. Some important words are there: grammar consolidation, effective English, mini mocks, vocab consolidation. All these we are going to touch. When you ask the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial discusses the 72,000 crore infrastructure project on Great Nicobar Island, emphasizing the need for wider consultations and transparency before proceeding. As I said, this is about an important project, a mega project, 72,000 crore worth project on the Great Nicobar Island. And the editorial says, emphasizing the need for wider consultations and transparency before proceeding. Good morning. Because it is about a mega project and it is going to make a negative impact on the pristine environment that goes with the Nicobar Island, editor takes a stand and says the government has to go in for wider deliberations or consultations, and also whatever the government is trying to do, there should be some sort of transparency. That is very important. Based on that, what is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is a critical and cautionary. Critical, criticizing, cautionary, trying to be careful regarding the particular project and the impact of that particular project. Today, the presentation regarding vocabulary is going to be different. If you wonder how it is going to be different, first I'll present the context. In the context, you see the highlighted word, and based on that, you try to guess the meaning. Then I'll give the meaning and the word profile. Without wide consultation, centers should not embark on the infrastructure project. This is the context. Should not embark, you should understand, it talks about should is used to express, to advise or suggest someone, and also possibility chances are less, but should not embark on something. On what? Infrastructure project. From this, you should understand the meaning could be the center should not embark, the center should not start, should not launch, should not initiate. These are the words that have to pop up. Embark on the infrastructure project. Now, let us see the meaning. To begin a journey, adventure, or action, especially one that is significant or important. In this context, to begin the project. What is the example sentence? She decided to embark on a career in medicine after graduating from college. Usually, embark on a project, embark on a tour or a trip, travel. It goes with the plane, ship, train, all these journey, travel. But you embark on a career, a new combination you have to remember. What are the synonyms? Begin, commence, start, initiate, undertake. All familiar words, should not be that difficult to understand. And disembark, and finish, conclude. Context regarding the next word, pristine. While addressing the trilemma of infrastructure development, preserving pristine biodiversity. Biodiversity, good morning. Biodiversity goes with bio, plants and animals, diversity, different. Biodiversity, the plants and animals or the flora and fauna of a particular region. And here, pristine biodiversity. Biodiversity is a noun. Based on that, you have to understand the word before that is an adjective. Pristine biodiversity. Respect and being sensitive to the rights of the indigenous inhabitants and tribals. So, what does it mean? Generally, the word goes with pristine nature, pristine island, pristine biodiversity, something like pure, not disturbed. In its original condition, unspoiled, clean, and pure. The hikers were amazed. Amazed means what? Highly surprised. The hikers were amazed by the pristine beauty of the untouched forest. Another combination you have got pristine beauty of the untouched forest. Synonyms unspoiled, untouched, immaculate, an important word, pure, clean. Antonyms spoiled, dirty, tainted. Tainted goes with someone's reputation, someone's image. His reputation has been tainted. And sullied, an important word. But when it comes to the word pure, you have to learn a particular word. What is opposite? Obviously, all know adulteration, adulterate. Today, adulteration is a major problem. What does it mean? Adulterate something means to make something impure. Adulterate means what? To make impure. Adulteration, an important word. Sometimes you get as a passage. Good morning to all of you. Rather late, no problem. In its original condition, and these words you have to remember: immaculate, tainted, sullied. Let us go to the next word, indigenous. What is the context? While addressing the trilemma of infrastructure development, preserving pristine biodiversity, respect, and being sensitive to the rights of the indigenous inhabitants. Inhabitants, you have to know for sure it's a noun. And the word that comes before a noun is an adjective, usually. And here, indigenous people, indigenous companies, indigenous industries. That means what? Originating or occurring naturally in a particular place, native. Generally, we use words like, look at the example. The indigenous people of the Amazon have a deep connection with their environment. As I said, the typical combinations are indigenous tribals, indigenous people, indigenous groups. Synonyms native, aboriginal, local, endemic. Antonyms foreign, alien, non native, imported. Usually, when it comes to the tribal people of Australia, we use the word aboriginals, original inhabitants of that particular region. Context for the next word, prerequisite. Pre means what? Before. A prerequisite. Look at the context. The project area is expected to cover 130 square kilometer of pristine forest and has been accorded a stage 1 environmental clearance, one of the mandatory requisites. Mandatory means what? Compulsory. Mandatory, prerequisite. Prerequisite, something that is required beforehand. Something that is required as a prior condition for something else to happen or exist. Completing basic math courses is a prerequisite for enrolling in advanced calculus. Imagine someone wants to enroll in advanced calculus. Learning the basic maths is a prerequisite, means it's a condition to be fulfilled before enrolling in calculus classes. Synonyms, requirements, preconditions, qualifications, stipulations. Antonyms, options, superfluous elements. Need not be. What is the meaning of the word superfluous? Means unnecessary use of words. We can also think of the word a redundancy. Yes, stipulated time, very good. You have to answer the questions within the stipulated time period, 20 minutes, 30 questions. What is the context for the next word, imperil? The Galatea Bay in the Nicobar Islands hosts multiple rare species, including the leatherback turtle, and the project imperils their future. To put at risk or of harm, danger, or loss. Imperil means to put someone or something in danger. Yes, redundancy. What are the synonyms? Endangers, jeopardizes, jeopardize, an important word. Threatens, risks, protects, safeguards, secures, preserves. Try to look at the context and try to guess. Class is at 9 only. Every day it is at 9, 9 to 10. This has been going on for more than 3 months. Context for the next word, not a word actually, this is an idiomatic expression. Details on the environmental clearance process and the appraisal process, usually a public document, Have been kept under wraps. What you have to understand, try to guess. When I provide the context, you should try to guess the meaning. Positive or negative? It is negative because two things: environmental clearance process and appraisal process. These are usually, they come under, they should be kept in public, they should be exposed to the public, usually a public document. But in this case, they have been kept under wraps. Means what? They haven't been disclosed, they have been kept a secret. Look at the meaning now: to keep something secret or concealed. Example: the details of the new product launch were kept under wraps until the official announcement. They did not disclose the facts about a particular product, then we say it has been kept under a wraps. Synonyms: conceal, hide, keep secret, withhold. Antonyms are reveal, disclose, expose, make public. All these words we have got many a time, should not be that difficult to relate to the words. The next word is foolhardy. Look at the context. Without transparency, it would be foolhardy for the government to attempt such a massive upheaval of the islands, and it should, with its new mandate, immediately correct course. Transparency is a positive word. Lay bare, to make public. Very good. Busy life. Transparency is a positive word. Means everything is clear. They're not trying to hide something, and they're trying to do things openly in a proper way. Without transparency means something is negative. Without transparency, it would be foolhardy. Without being transparent, without being honest, you try to do something, that means you are hasty, or you are taking risk, or you're reckless. Guess the meaning based on the context. Now let us look at the meaning. Recklessly bold or rash. It was foolhardy of him to attempt the climb without any proper gear or preparation. You try to do something without any proper preparation, it is nothing but taking the risk, being risky, or trying to be too bold. Then what is the word we use? We use this particular word, foolhardy. Synonyms: reckless, rash, daring. But here, daring is a positive word. Don't consider the word daring. You can consider other words: reckless, rash, imprudent, hasty. Cautious, prudent, careful, wise, sensible. Prudent is nothing but being wise. The next word is upheaval. Upheaval has got two different meanings. One meaning of upheaval, it goes with people revolting, or the soldiers revolting, upheaval of something. But it also goes with nature. When on a large scale there is devastation, we say upheaval. And here goes with that context. Without transparency, it would be foolhardy for the government to attempt such a massive upheaval of the islands, and it should, with its new mandate, immediately correct course. A violent or sudden change or disruption to something. More on the damaging side. Upheaval, chaotic. You have the synonyms. The political upheaval in the country led to the widespread protest and instability. Disruption, turmoil, disturbance, revolution, chaos. All the words, very good. Busy life. I appreciate that. Antonyms: stability, peace, calm, order, tranquility. We have got all these words we have been getting. They should be at your fingertips now. Those are the words from today's editorial. Now let us go to the editorial. What is a stimulus? A particular project. I've been telling you guys, for a writer to write an article, for the newspaper to write an editorial, there should be some sort of stimulus. The stimulus could be an event, an incident, a policy, or something that is quite significant. Here, a particular project. What is a stimulus? Nicobar Triangle, on the 72,000 crore project on Great Nicobar Island. But what is the main idea of this editorial? Without wide consultations, centers should not embark on the infrastructure project. What do you understand from this? First, you have to know the meaning of the word should, the function of the helping verb should. Should has two functions. One, it is used to advise or suggest to someone. Second, it is used to express a possibility, but the chances are less. More chances, we use may. Less chances, we use should, could, might. That you have to recollect. And the idea here, the center is trying to embark on a particular project, a mega project, 72,000 crore, and that is likely it is going to make a negative impact. Obviously, it goes without saying. And what the editorial says, the center has to have wider consultations, one thing, and it should also consider the rights of the indigenous people. That is also very important. Without wide consultation, centers should not embark on the infrastructure project. Now we'll come to know what is this project. The Union Tribal Affairs Ministry will be looking into the forest clearance paperwork of the 72,000 crore infrastructure project on Great Nicobar Island, a major initiative of the National Democratic Alliance government. Tribal Affairs Minister Joel Oram told this newspaper. It is about the project. Someone is going to look into the project. Who is going to look into the project or the paperwork? The Union Tribal Affairs Ministry will be looking into. Here we have an important expression, will be looking into. Which tense is this? Try to respond. It is future continuous tense. Then you have to know something. To express future actions in English, we have five different ways. One, we can express using will, I will come tomorrow. Two, using shall, I shall come tomorrow. Three, using going to, I'm going to come tomorrow. Four, present continuous plus time in future, I am coming tomorrow. And fifth one, future continuous tense. Yes, that's right, busy life. If someone asks me, Sir, will you come tomorrow? I can say, Yes, I will come. Yes, I will be coming. Both mean the same. But future continuous has a regular function. What is it? It is used to express an action that will be going on in future. All that you have to recollect. The Union Tribal Affairs Ministry will be looking into the forest clearance paperwork of the 72,000 crore infrastructure project on Great Nicobar Island, a major initiative of the National Democratic Alliance government. Tribal Affairs Minister Joel Oram told this newspaper. A lengthy sentence but easy to comprehend. This is a significant step for the government in its third term as it brings to the surface, make a particular problem active or lively. Obviously, yes, who is that? To the media, to this newspaper, told this newspaper means the Hindu paper, obviously. This is a significant step for the government in its third term as it brings to the surface the contentious and difficult choices. We have got this word many a time. Contentious means what? That future action means future possibility, future action. That's what I said. When someone asks me, So, will you come tomorrow? I can say, Yes, I will come tomorrow. I can also say, I will be coming tomorrow. Both mean the same. Yes, busy life. Contentious, two idioms you have to recollect. First one is what? Bone of contention. The other one, apple of discord. And difficult choices that governments face while addressing the trilemma of infrastructure development, preserving pristine biodiversity, respect, and being sensitive to the rights of the indigenous inhabitants and tribals. When it comes to a particular developmental project, it's always difficult to decide between the development, urbanization, and the environment. There's always a conflict. You have to decide which one is good, which one is better, which one should be preferred. And it talks about, on the one hand, this project, on the other hand, the possibility or the potential of disturbing the pristine biodiversity in that region. And the second important dimension, touching the rights of the indigenous people. The Great Nicobar project involves developing a transshipment. What is the project about? Now the editorial throws light. What is this project? 72,000 crore project. What does it deal with? What is it going to do? The Great Nicobar project involves developing a transshipment port, one, an international airport, two, township development, three, and a 450 megawatt gas and solar based power plant on the island, four. This project includes four things. All the four have been listed out. The project area is expected to cover. We expect the project to cover present tense active voice, and the project area is expected to cover present tense passive voice. That you have to know for sure. The project area is expected to cover over 130 square kilometer of pristine forest and has been accorded a stage 1 environmental clearance, one of the mandatory prerequisites by an expert committee. How much area is it going to cover? 130 square kilometers. And who has given it has been given a particular status. What is it? Stage 1 environmental clearance that has been accorded by, it is one of the mandatory prerequisites. Accorded by whom? By an expert committee. The government told Parliament in August 2023 that 9.6 lakh trees could be felled and compensatory afforestation for the loss of this unique rainforest ecosystem had been planned. Before I complete, I go to the next slide. There is one important word over here. What is it? Felled. Many of you know fall, fell, fallen. This is an irregular verb, intransitive verb. We have another verb, fell, felled, felled. This is a regular verb because it takes ed. It is also a transitive verb. What does it mean? To cut trees. Very good, Satish. I appreciate that. You guys are doing well. Keep it up. Cut down trees. It talks about the government told Parliament in August 2023 that 9.6 lakh trees could be felled. Could be felled. They could fell active voice. They could fell 1,000 trees. 1,000 trees could be felled passive voice. And compensatory afforestation for the loss of this unique rainforest ecosystem had been planned. Then comes the question, where? Thousands of kilometers away in the vastly different ecological zone of Haryana. What is going on? They disturb a particular pristine forest, they remove the forest, and they want to create a similar one somewhere else, thousands of miles away. The latest information, scientists say if you destroy a forest, let's say 130 square kilometers, and you try to create another forest through afforestation project some other place, it is nowhere near the actual forest. What is the reason? The actual forest, thousands of years, it has been there. If you take the Great Nicobar Island, that 130 square kilometer stretch, the forest has been there for thousands of years. The flora, the fauna, the biodiversity, the uniqueness, you cannot create in a place like Haryana through afforestation project. Poles apart, it is going to be vast difference. Original forest, created one, no match at all. That's what the latest scientists say. It is no match, but that's what they want to do. The Galatia Bay in the Nicobar Islands hosts multiple rare species, including the leatherback turtle, and the project imperils their future. Imperil, put in danger. Felled means to cut trees, that's right. Here, there's one important word. It says that it talks about the negative impact of the project. What is that important word over here? Including. When we try to join two subjects using expressions like with, together with, along with, as well as, including, and not, besides, in addition to, like, unlike, rather than, nothing but, no less than, the verb agrees with the first subject, not the second subject. That you have to recollect. Going to the second part of the editorial, the government argues that its motive is to leverage the strategic location. Here, strategic has two different words, two different meanings. One meaning, plan. What is your strategy to crack the exam? Plan. Another meaning goes with defense services, strategic studies related to defense. The government contends that its motive is to leverage the strategic location, leverage, an important word, to make use of something to the maximum extent possible. Yes, all those words you have to recollect. Satish, very good. The government contends that its motive is to leverage the strategic location with the Great Nicobar Island located only 90 kilometers away from the western tip of the Malacca Strait, an important shipping route between the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea. Excuse me. The sentence talks about the idea behind, the motive behind. That's what the government says. But the critics and experts say something else. What do they say? However, contrasting word, critics and some of the government's policy advisors suggest that tourism is a key imperative for the exercise. Though the government says the idea behind this project is keeping the strategic studies or strategic location in mind, the critics and advisors in the government say the actual ulterior motive means a hidden motive is tourism project, tourism industry is a key imperative for the exercise. The Environment Ministry, which is a regulator of the environmental policy, has opted to be secretive about the project. This is something not expected. Trying to be secretive about something speaks volumes about transparency. The Environment Ministry, which is a regulator of environmental policy, has opted to be secretive about the project. Details on the environmental clearance process and the appraisal process, two things. Usually a public document, people should have access to all these, have been kept under wraps, means have been kept a secret. These also seem to be, there also seems to be haste. Haste means what? There's a saying in English, haste makes waste. Hasty means trying to do things in a hurry. Based on that, what is the saying? Haste makes waste. To be haste on the part of the island administration, to proceed while ignoring the rights of the local tribes, the Champagne in particular, regarding consent. Based on this, the local administration, the district administration of that particular region, initiated certain projects in that direction without taking into consideration the rights of the indigenous people, without taking their consent, approval. The National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, a constitutional body, has demanded an explanation from the district administration on these grounds. Based on the actions of the district administration, a particular commission, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, wanted explanation, demanded explanation. Besides that, the National Green Tribunal had tasked a committee headed by the Secretary of the Environment Ministry to submit a report on the approval of forest clearance. They have instituted a committee, and the task of the committee is what? Headed by the Secretary of the Environment Ministry, to submit a report on the approval of forest clearances. This too is not public. All these should be public, but they are not public. Without transparency, the main idea is being reiterated. Without transparency, it would be foolhardy for the government to attempt such a massive upheaval of the islands, and it should, with its new mandate, immediately correct course. It has to change. Yes, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Very good, I appreciate that. Main idea is being reiterated. What is it? When it is going to make a tremendous negative impact on the region and the biodiversity, the rights of the tribal people are at stake. It has to go in for wider consultancy, and it should be transparent. Both are very important. It ends on that particular note. Let us go to test your comprehension skill. Try to answer the first one. Which ministry is reviewing the forest clearance paperwork for the Great Nicobar Island project? Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Tourism. No, it is not Ministry of Environment. It is B, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Question number 2. What does the Great Nicobar project include? A transshipment port and an international airport, township development, a 450 megawatt gas and solar based power plant. I'm not quite sure about that. All of the above. When I read out the editorial, I listed out four things. All the four things have been mentioned here. Based on that, what is the answer? The answer is the fourth option, all of the above. But no one has responded. Two, it is not A. D is the answer. Question number three. How much forest area is expected to be covered by the project? What is the area to be covered by the project? Not 100, not 110, not 120, over 130 square kilometer. Yes, that's right. Where is the compensatory afforestation for the project planned? Compensatory afforestation, that is not going to be a replica of the original pristine forest. Nowhere near that. Answer is in Haryana. C is the answer. Yes, that's right. Which rare species is specifically mentioned as being imperiled by the project? The project is going to imperil a particular species. Which one is that? It is not Nicobar pigeon. It is not dugong. It is not great Nicobar snake. It is a leatherback turtle. Yes. Let us go to questions based on exam topics. The first one. Mind you, guys, all these questions are based on today's editorial. The context is familiar, memory is fresh. You should be able to spot the error on reading. That gives you confidence. The project area is expecting to cover over 130 square kilometer of pristine forest and has been accorded a stage 1 environmental clearance, one of the mandatory prerequisites by an expert committee. Yes, here we cannot say the project area is expecting. We have to say is expected to cover. This is present tense, passive voice. Whenever you come across active voice, passive voice, you come across direct, indirect, you have to think of the other one. Here, we expect the forest area to cover active voice. The forest area is expected to cover, or we expect the project to cover. The project is expected to cover, is expected. And any sentence in passive voice, the main verb should be in past participle form. The government told Parliament in August 2023 that 9.6 lakh trees could be fallen and compensatory afforestation for the loss of this unique rainforest ecosystem had been planned thousands of kilometers away. This is also easy, that's good. Could be fallen or could be felled. We are not talking about fall, fell, fallen in this context. We are talking about fell, felled, felled. Based on that, we have to use the verb. It is also in passive voice. They could fell the trees. The trees could be felled. Here, felled is not the past form, it is the past participle form because it is in passive voice. Question number 3. The Galatea Bay in the Nicobar Islands hosts multiple rare species, including the leatherback turtle, and the project imperils its future. This is a bit challenging under pressure, but you have got exposed to that today's editorial. You should not be, you should get it immediately. Very good, busy life. I told you, whenever you come across certain words, you got to be alert. Here, including, we have two subjects multiple rare species, subject 1, the leatherback turtle, subject 2. But the verb agrees with the first subject, multiple rare species, plural. Then we cannot use a pronoun in the singular form. We have to say their future. Multiple rare species, their future is at stake. Its is not correct, it has to be their future. Try to get all the 5 correct. Idioms are there, 5 idioms, and try to get all the 5 correct. Toe to toe. At least one student responds, then I will give you the answers. Let someone start. Yes. Here, a direct conflict between two people or groups possible in close quarters. On your toes. Before a competitive exam, you have to be on your toes. Means what? Alert, active, completely focused. Based on that, to continue directing all the attention and energy. Put your foot down. Deal with someone in a strict way. Get cold feet. I got cold feet before the presentation. Means what? I was nervous, anxious, I had the fear. B is the answer. Drag your feet. Literally to walk slowly. But someone is hesitant to do the work, do something very reluctantly, delay doing something. ECDBA. Very good, Satish. You got all the five correct. That's all for today. Hope you guys have got enriched. And if you want off the cuff, spontaneous, extempore, off the cuff, yes, related to public speaking, go to the Telegram group. There you can access the PDF after the session, a few minutes after the session. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.